Hi, my Stampin' friends. It's Charlene from stampinwithcharlene.com, and I have a confession to make. I have a new obsession addiction. My family always makes fun of me because I'm always like 10 years behind the trend, and this has been out for a while, but I just a couple weeks ago became completely obsessed and addicted with adult coloring books. I can't stop. Okay, so now stamping, making cards, that is my passion, my lifeblood. This is not replacing that. This is just a new hobby, I like to say. And I was thinking to myself, you know, there's so many different things that Stampin' Up offers, tools as a card maker, card designer that I already have. So if you also like to color in adult coloring books, what I did was I went through all of my Stampin' Up products and I came up with different ways that you can use what you already have to color in your adult coloring books. So let me show you all the different ways that I came up with, and you can use what you already have or just add a few things to your collection. You can use ink and blending brushes, and this works great, especially if you have a large pattern like this and you're just not in the mood to color in every single little design here. You want to just go pretty fast and then move on to the next design. So with our blending brushes, I'm going to use 3 different colors here: Bermuda Bay ink, Melon Mambo ink, and then Daffodil Delight ink. And I'm going to start in the middle with the darkest color. This is the Bermuda Bay, so I'm just going to get some of the ink directly onto the blending brush like this. And I'm going to just start here in the center. And this is going to give a very interesting effect that none of your other friends' coloring books are going to have this. Look at how cool that comes out. It's just really shaded. And you can put as much ink, like I want it to be dark in the middle, and then I want it to fade as I go out. So I'm going to concentrate with a lot of ink in the middle and then just work my way out like that, so that it'll fade into the next color. And you can easily stay in the line. It depends on the design, but you'll see that I'm easily staying in the line here with this. You have a lot of control over the brush. You can hold it by the handle. If you want more control, you can just hold it up here at the tip. This is such a beautiful effect. Some of these come out so great, you want to frame them, but then like your entire wall will be full of coloring pages. So I'm just blending it dark into light, and now I'm going to go on and I'm going to use the Melon Mambo. So take a bunch of it on there, and then what I'm going to do is just blend that around. I'm doing the same thing. So fun and so relaxing. And then I'm going to finish it off with the Daffodil Delight. Now I just chose 3 colors, but if you want to spend more time on this, you can use as many colors as you want, and you can direct the color and just do it in one little box. So if I just take my time and I can carefully just stay within the lines, and I can do multicolors. So I can do this one, the Daffodil Delight, and then I could go on and do Melon Mambo and the Bermuda Bay. So it just all depends on how much, what you want it to look like, how fast you want to go, and the desired effect. But I just wanted to show you how easy this technique is with ink directly to the paper with a blending brush. So the ink with the blending brushes gives a great stained glass effect. Really easy and so fun and so unique and different. I guarantee you none of your friends are coloring in their adult coloring book with blending brushes. An obvious way to color in is with our Stampin' Write markers. And these are great because they have a brush tip and they have a fine tip. And the fine tip is perfect for these little dots here on the butterfly. You can just easily stay in the lines and use the fine tip to color those in. But I want to show you something else that you can do with the marker. Let me take this large area here. So I'm going to color in with the felt, with the brush tip, I'm going to color in this part here of the flower. It's so easy to do. And remember, when you store your markers, store them horizontally so the ink distributes evenly throughout the entire thing and it doesn't go to one end or the other. Okay, so I colored those in, but now I want to show you something else that you can do is you can take a blender pen, and if you get streaks with your color, I'll do this area here because it's a little bit larger and you'll be able to see it a little better. If I'm going to color in with the marker, it might leave some streaks because this is not an alcohol-based situation. It's not an alcohol-based tool. If I take the blender pen and I go over the marker, what it does is it smooths it out and it gets rid of any streaks, and it just makes it, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but it makes it flatter. Let's try over here on the yellow and see if there's any little spots that you missed. The blender pen not only gets rid of the streaks from the marker, but it also moves the ink around so you can fill in any little places that you missed. So that is also a fun technique, and I'm sure a lot of you have our Stampin' Write markers, so you are good to go. Just add some blender pens if you don't have them, and that'll really up the game. One of the easiest and most fun ways to color in is with our Stampin' Blends. These are alcohol-based, so it's one and done. You can just color in and move on. And these also have a brush tip and a fine tip. It's more of a chisel tip. But you don't need a blender pen because they're alcohol-based. You can just go to town. And there are so many different colors, and there's light and dark for each color. So these are great because sometimes the images are bright flowers and then sometimes they're woodsy. So you want to use like, browns and those kind of things. So because there is such a great combination of colors. Blender pens are fabulous to add to your adult coloring collection of items. And see how smooth this goes with the brush tip? It's so easy, so relaxing. So that's with the brush tip. And now I will show you with the chiseled end. See, it's not a fine tip like the marker. It's a lot thicker, but it does serve the purpose of fitting in a smaller area. So personally, out of all the techniques, I think for everyday coloring, the blender pens are my favorite. Of course, we cannot talk about coloring without addressing watercolor pencils. And not only watercolor pencils, but also blender pens. And I'm going to show you what the difference is when you use the blender pen with the watercolor pencil. You're going to love this effect. I tried, but there is just no moving my cat out of the camera frame today. So let's just get to it. Of course, Stampin' Up! Watercolor pencils are fabulous because they come in coordinating colors. There are 2 different sets. And I am going to just show you here. Let's zoom in. Oh, Willow. I'm going to just show you at this area right here. So when you just color with the regular watercolor pencil, like this, you'll see that it's not a solid color. You can do this. You can just use your watercolor pencil. You don't have to use a blender pen. So that's what the image looks like, just colored in. Now I'm going to add the blender pen to it. And I don't know what this is. I just like to call it blender pen juice. And now I want you to watch what happens. It turns the watercolor pencil into what looks like water painting. So see how it smooths everything out? And then you can also move the color around. If you want to shade areas a little bit lighter, you can just move it around. You also don't have to color in the entire image. So see here, I just put a little bit, and then I'm going to take the blender pen with my baby's tail and spread the color around just like that, and just smooth out the lines. Another really, really fun technique. We also have the soft pastels assortment in all of these colors, and these in and of themselves have several different ways to use them. So on the leaf over here, I am just going to chalk this up. There's going to be a lot of dust when you do this directly onto the paper, so just keep that in mind. But there are several different ways that you can use these, but I'm just chalking it up. It's a fun technique. And then you can blend this out if you want to, or just leave it. Just make sure that you have a place to collect the dust. But that's a beautiful, vibrant granny apple green, which looks great on the leaves. And what I'm going to do on this page is I'll finish it up and show you the final product, final project, but I'm going to do a combination of the watercolor pencils and the pastels. So there's my pastel, and then if you want, you can take your blender pen and smooth that out. Just another fun technique where if you already have Stampin' Up! Items, you can take on your new hobby of coloring in adult coloring books. Another great reason to use your Stampin' Up! Stuff is, if you kind of peek under here, I don't know if you can see it, but there was a big Y there and I messed up. So I used some stamps and dies and cut them out, and I covered up the boo-boo. So the possibilities are endless. If you watch my regular Stampin' Up! Videos, card making videos, you know that at everyone at the end, I always say, so fun and so easy. So that's why I am so happy that I could bring you this whole new dimension and new way that you can use your card making products in your adult coloring books. And what's great about it too is that it's portable. You can just shove a book into your bag with some colored pencils or some markers or some blender pens, whatever you want, and you can go to town when you're waiting at a doctor's office, on an airplane, wherever. It's a way to keep that hobby and take it with you on the go. So thank you for watching, and I just want to let you know that I have linked below a bunch of my favorite coloring books. They're available on my Amazon storefront, so check them out. Have a great day, and I really hope you enjoy this. And please let me know, are you into adult coloring? Did you start when the trend started, like 10 years ago, or are you like me and a slow learner? Oh well, at least we've arrived, right?